Welcome to part 2 of episode 3 of ASF Roster. The TJ special, I've said, because he's asked every person on the roster. We've covered Raw, so now let's move on to Smashdown, going through A to Z of the people on there. So let's kick off, of course, with Astaroth. And TJ's question is, was the attack on Tails that cost him the YouTube title to humiliate him, or was it to just send a statement? He answers with a simple both and then laughs. So he wants to humiliate him and send a statement. Why not? I think it did the job. Next up, Bart. How does it feel to be the only person in the YouTube era to hold both the ASF YouTube and ASF World titles? His answer is, put it this way, my good man, it feels way better than words can describe. But if I was going to use at least one word, it would have to be phenomenal. Well, yes, I guess it is. Winning both, he's the first one to do it, so congrats, I guess. Or in order. We'll have to see what holds the future. I've got a few words to deal with him about, of course, that controversial decision on the last episode of Smashdown, for those of you that remember. Next up is a question for Billy. Are you jealous of Grim being hardcore champion? His answer is, what's jealous? Yep, that's him. Sounds pretty much like him. Confused at what jealous means. So good for Grim, I guess. Even though he's no longer hardcore champion, we've kind of jumped to show for these questions, but who cares? Bomberman is next up. He asks, whom in the anti-heroes would you consider your best friend? And he replies with, is that a typo or did you mean that? Because all of my Freedom Movement gang are my best friends. Yeah, a bit of a typo there, but I guess that answers your question anyway. Who would you consider your best friend? I guess maybe Wario, because he's a tag partner, but they're all kind of friends in the Freedom Movement, so it's fair enough. Next up is Grim. Was winning the hardcore title your favourite ASF moment? His reply is, I guess at least I won something, and I had to beat Nightmare to do it. Some all-powerful being he is. Grim getting the last laugh in there. Next up is one for Homer. How did you feel when your daughter won the title? The one your son had lost and wants back. His reply is, she's getting far more rewards than the boy, that's for sure. But I find myself doing a lot more work these days. They're always playing tug-of-war with that belt upstairs. Yeah, I can picture that. That's my belt. No, give it here, it's mine. Next up is for Link. Do you feel the need for vengeance on the anti-heroes for what happened at No Way Out? Of course, there's another one that doesn't talk, so he does that simple action right there. Fair enough. Next up is for Lisa. Congrats, first woman to hold a major world title. How do you feel? She answers with, I never really expected something like that to happen. When I got handed the title, I was just confused at first, but then I just accepted it, and I'm very happy that I got to hold it and play tug-of-war with it. Next up is a question from Manic. Any plans now that the anti-heroes have control over Smashdown? He's got a pretty convincing answer here. Well, the best idea I came up with was to prove to Cyrus that the anti-heroes are not the ones he wants to side with, because I believe that's the only reason he did join with them. He thinks they're the dominant team, so the Freedom Movement's job is to prove to him that is not the case. So no matter what the anti-heroes are going to chuck at them, they're obviously going to stand their ground and prove to Cyrus, and well, they've already proven to me, but Cyrus is the important one. He's got to change, and they've got to convince him. So let's wish them luck. I certainly do. Next question is for Marzel. How does it feel to be a long-reigning tag team champion and being a part of a dominant force such as the anti-heroes? His answer is, it is very assuring to know that you have great backup, but being a tag team champion, you do not need backup. That's what makes Dimension X invincible. I guess that makes sense. He's saying he doesn't need backup, but they've got it anyway. So they're claiming to be invincible, or at least Marzel is. Don't know what Void's side is that to that. Next up is Nightmare. Is your mission just whatever stands in your path, or is it the YouTube title? His reply is, never you mind what my needs are. If it comes to me, I take it. Fair enough. Well, I'll make sure not to give him anything too rewarding then. He can take that. But of course that's not my decision, so sadly. Let's hope Cyrus doesn't put some faith into him. Maybe a potential future YouTube champion there. Next up is for Princess Peach. What made you align with Tails? P.S. You tapped out. Yeah. Her reply is, how dare you talk to me like that? I'm not answering your question now. I did a pretty good impression there. Typical her. Rouge. I reckon she wouldn't have answered that anyway. Oh well. Anyway, coming up next, Rouge. A question for Rouge. Now that there's no women's title, do you have a goal on Smashdown? She says, I'm just here to support the anti-hero Sugar because it pays handsomely. That's not me calling you Sugar, that's her calling you. Just to settle that ordeal. And of course, next question is for her tag team partner, Samus. Why join forces with the anti-heroes? I thought the bounty hunter was her own woman. Her answer is, you are correct on that, but Peach pays me a lot when I take someone out. When I take out someone from the freedom movement, that is my motivation. So there you go. Samus and Rouge love the cash, and Peach is a walking ATM machine. So why leave? Next up is the Cyrus robot. Despite being Cyrus's property, is there something in you that wants the YouTube title? I think I'll leave this sound clip up to this answer. No! The next question is for Sonia. People consider you a jobber. Do you plan to prove them wrong? Her answer is, well, Manic is not letting me compete, and I'm perfectly fine by that. It shows that he cares a lot for me. But when I get the chance, I will do my best to show that I'm not all talk. Not that she talks a lot anyway. Well, maybe she does, but I'm going to break the wall and say she hasn't got a voice actor. There, I said it. Next up is Mr. Miles, or Tails, as I prefer to call him. What went through your mind when you won the title? His reply... He is turning into Sonic. I mean, look at this reply. When you're someone like me, winning is just an afterthought, and winning a title, it's exactly the same. I was making sure that the championship was in good hands. The only way for someone to beat me for it is to cheat, unlike the way I won it. And by the next episode of Smashdown, I'll be the rightful champion again, and sadly, he is. So, that statement was pretty correct. Excuse me. Last two questions now. Void gets the same question as Marzel, which was this. I can't remember what it is, Drew. But he answers with, it is whatever they wish it to be. I do not have feelings much about such things. It just comes to me naturally, as long as the wisher continues to dream. He's got a very imaginative mind there with his comebacks, isn't he? A lot better than Marzel in my view, anyway. Very interesting replies we get from Void. I can see he's going to become a popular favourite for asking questions, perhaps, with answers like that. And of course, our final question, we're right at the end of the alphabet, W for Wario. The question is it fun bashing Peach? His reply is define the word bashing. Just kidding. The answer is, of course it is. Even if it's become very easy these days, it's still all the more worth it. So there you go. And we've gone through all 33 questions, can you believe it? So whew. So if someone else wants to ask the roster, you can literally ask anyone. I guess this is a good example, but and the show will be 100% devoted to you. So this is the first of its kind, but we'll see if there are any more, if you can think of any creative questions for every single character on the roster. But until then, I will see you on Raw. I don't know what's going to come first. It's either going to be Raw, because that's one more episode to come of Raw, or I might see you on the first play of SmackDown vs. Raw 2011, which will be definitely on the Friday, because I'll be recording just everything and then I'll be giving my in-depth analysis, you could say. But and I'll see you then. So I might see you on Raw, or I might see you on the first play, but no matter what, I will see you again sometime this week. So goodbye for now.